Happening now, the latest on a fatal traffic accident in Falconer that claimed the life of a 66-year-old woman. And we're digging into Jamestown Public Schools' budget, which highlights supports for student mental health. Plus, it's Police Appreciation Week. We check in with a local restaurant serving up benefits to our men and women in blue.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. We've got a lot of local news coming up, but first, it's all about the weather. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us live with that, and yet another beautiful day on tap, Dakota.
Yes, it will be. I mean, the sun is shining out there for this Wednesday out there, same as it has been. You can see it on the Salamanca sky cam here, just lots of blue sky. And once again, now there is a few high clouds moving off to the west that's going to be moving on in here, but again, they're high level clouds. So again, same thing we've talked about. When they're high in the atmosphere, that means rain cannot fall from them. We topped out at 77 yesterday, started the day at 53, so definitely not as cool. 85 and 24 are the records. So through the afternoon, let's do it again, folks. It's warmer today. Again, few high clouds will roll in through the afternoon. 72 at the immediate Lake Erie water to 83 well inland with a south wind less than 10 miles per hour. We've got a couple more days worth of this to go through, but today could be an elevated wildfire risk. We'll talk about that along with that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show, Justin.
All right, Dakota, lots of important information to stay up to date with. We'll see you in a bit. A 66-year-old Falconer woman died after she was hit by a pickup truck while crossing a busy street yesterday. Town of Ellicott police report that Louisa Chizizi was crossing West Main Street around 2:30 p.m. when she was hit by a vehicle. Following an investigation, officers report a 2014 Dodge pickup truck operated by Stephen Filarelli or Celeron turned west from Fetaplace Street onto Main Street when he struck Chizi. Ellicott police, along with the Falconer Fire Department, Chautauqua County EMS responded there. Chizizi was later pronounced dead at the scene. While police say the crash appears to be a tragic accident, Filarelli is charged with failure to yield to a pedestrian. Now, at the time of this collision, the area was very busy with both vehicle and pedestrian traffic due to dismissal in the area. Officers say it's very important for both drivers and those walking the streets alike to pay extra attention while traveling during peak times. And investigators are not able to pinpoint the exact cause of a fatal Frewsburg house fire due to extensive damage to the building there. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Fire Investigation Team has released findings of their probe into the blaze at 83 West Main Street in Frewsburg. Deputies who worked alongside the New York State fire investigators were unable to determine the exact cause of the fire due to the amount of damage the building sustained. A deceased victim, whose name has not been released, was located by crews checking for hot spots throughout the home following the Monday morning fire. The victim has since been taken to ECMC in Buffalo for an autopsy by the medical examiner's office. While an exact cause of that blaze will likely never be known, officials say the fire does not appear to be suspicious in nature. Additional support for students' mental health services is among major pillars of Jamestown Public Schools' proposed spending plan for next year. As our Julia Gress reports, the district officials say the global pandemic brought many stressors to students, stressors that are still felt today.
For our kids is the anxiety and depression and social stress and other mental health concerns and behavioral concerns that happened being separated from each other and not having quote-unquote regular school for so long.
Jamestown Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Kevin Whitaker says the allotted academic funding will boost aid to students in several ways. For the community, the superintendent committed to a 0% tax increase. However, Whitaker says because state funding changes, it can be hard to bring financial stability year to year.
We need to smooth that out. We have to have predictability for our kids, for our parents, for our community, so that we can consistently provide a high-level quality product to our community and to our kids every year, no matter what the funding comes in from the state.
One way to do this, he tells us, is by using reserves funds to smooth out the gaps. Over the next few years, capital improvements are slated to take place at 5 school buildings. Next week, residents of the district will not only vote on the budget, but also on 2 Board of Education members running for re-election, Patrick Slagle and Joseph Paluski.
We're hiring a lot of new people in this budget, and it's critical to hire these people so we can address the situations that the children and the students in this district are going through. And the parents, too. The parents have been trying to help their kids at home.
Though Paluski says most community concerns are related to the pandemic response and the after effects, Slagle says the school is readying itself for the future.
We're setting up a lot of reserves so that we can anticipate the future, where that's going to hold, so that we don't have to, the programs we create now, we don't have to cut next year if funding runs low.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
The 2022-23 budget vote and Board of Education will be held next Tuesday, May 17th from noon to 9 at Lincoln Elementary School, Jefferson Middle School, and Washington Middle School. Spring water main flushing, which was rescheduled last week, is slated to get underway tomorrow in the village of Falconer. The Jamestown Board of Public Utilities says the biannual occurrence was called off last week due to high water levels. After further evaluation of their water system, officials are moving forward and plan to start flushing the water mains on Thursday after 8 o'clock throughout the village of Falconer, with work expected to be completed by midday Friday. The flushing process can be expected to create discolored water in the village and on the north side of the city of Jamestown. And the Warren County Fair has reached an agreement to bring in rides for the 2022 fair. Organizers announced that yesterday. That Penn Valley Shows of Middleburg, PA will provide a number of rides, games, and food concessions for the Midway. Other new additions this year includes the All-American Petting Zoo and pony rides. It comes after the Fair Board of Directors was informed in December that the carnival company they worked with merged with another company and would not be coming back this year. As WNY News Now continues, the latest push in our region to improve rural broadband. And later, our longtime area congressman suddenly resigns. We look back at his career next. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Chautauqua County is in dire need of child care providers, and we need your help. The Chautauqua Child Care Council is hosting several special webinars to help you enter the child care industry. Setting up a child care program is easier than you think. It could start in your home, caring for a few children, or grow into a large operation at a daycare center. If financials are a challenge, no worries. The New York State Office of Children and Family Services is offering a grant opportunity to help you get started.
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area, hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at Northwest Arena where both kids and parents alike can learn about activities available to you. Later in the evening, finish out the night at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. Stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Well, continuing coverage on the ongoing efforts to improve access to broadband in our region. As historic levels of funding pour into communities across the country, many rural towns are using funds to improve access to high-speed internet. The Youngsville Television Corporation in Warren County, PA, has been awarded a $637,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to do that. The money will be used to construct a fiber to a premise network throughout the Cherry Grove Township. A total of 240 homes and businesses are expected to benefit from this project. Meanwhile, the Warren County Commissioners are in the process of talking to third-party vendors to determine the best way to improve internet service throughout the county. By improving technology, Commissioner Tricia Durbin says the county will also see improvements in economic development as well.
Positive from an educational opportunity perspective, connecting the community to the internet is very, very important. Being able to work from home and have those professionals who want to leave an urban market. So it can have a very large, significant impact.
The county will also receive an additional $1 million grant, but the commissioners are trying to determine exactly how they can use that money moving forward. Well, it's official. New Yorkers will have to wait until August to vote in the primary elections for U.S. representatives rather than June. The news comes after a federal judge gave his stamp of approval to delay it Tuesday. He says pushing back the primary to August 23rd would avoid a catastrophic situation for voters, and that this gives the state congressional redistricting process some time to play out. Primaries for governor and the state assembly are still scheduled for June. Well, New York will give abortion providers $35 million to expand services and boost security in anticipation of the U.S. Supreme Court possibly overturning the landmark Roe v. Wade decision that legalized abortion nationwide. Governor Kathy Hochul announced that on Tuesday, saying the state must be ready for a potential influx of out-of-state patients seeking abortions from the roughly half of U.S. states that are expected to ban or greatly restrict abortions if it's overturned. Hochul's office says she'll use an emergency Department of Health fund to provide $25 million in grants and reimbursements to abortion providers, including increasing access to services, while the remaining $10 million will go to security upgrades.
We also have to make sure that these facilities are safe, that the workers who go there, the clinical staff, the healthcare providers, the doctors, as well as the patients, know that they are safe when they walk down the street and enter the doors.
Hochul is also backing a proposed state constitution amendment to guarantee abortion rights and prohibit discrimination based on factors from race to pregnancy and pregnancy outcomes. After a 12-year career as a congressman, Tom Reed has resigned from office, effective immediately. Many were surprised by Tuesday's announcement. Reed's term is not up until January of 2023, but says he's leaving Congress to continue doing work that will have a greater impact on our nation. WNY's Marcia Augustin takes a look back at Reed's legacy.
Mr. Speaker, after almost 12 years in Congress, today is my last day.
Congressman Tom Reed decided to resign to take a job at the Prime Policy Group in Washington, D.C., and will not finish his term.
It has been an honor to serve with you all from both parties. I love this institution as it still exemplifies what is best about our government. We are the people's house. While I am proud that we put people before politics, there's much more to do. I am leaving to continue that work and hope to have a greater impact on our country.
Recently, he held a farewell town hall style meeting in Corning, where he was once the mayor, addressing a packed house. One of the things he discussed, his priority has always been the people.
We share a common effort and belief. We don't care who gets credit, so long as the people get taken care of. That's all that matters, and we'll let the credit and the politics take care of itself.
And he also reflected on the Problem Solvers Caucus, a bipartisan group he helped found. He believes it's one of his greatest achievements in Congress. His hope is both sides of the aisle can come together and work together for a better future.
And one of the things we're committed to is having a dialogue where we can talk to each other, work together. And we've got 20 senators now working with us. And now we've institutionalized that, and it's going to go forward.
Earlier last year, Reed was accused of sexual misconduct, an allegation he has since apologized for and then said he would not seek re-election. In a statement back in April of last year, he says, simply put, my behavior caused her pain, showed her disrespect, and was unprofessional. I was wrong, I am sorry, and I take full responsibility. Now that Tom has resigned, who will take the 23rd District seat? Well, that's up to Governor Kathy Hochul. With that seat up for grabs, Hochul is obligated to announce a special election in the coming weeks.
All right, Marcia, thank you. Well, this week is National Prevention Week, and in Pennsylvania, officials are working to expand resources and initiatives to prevent substance abuse there. Officials say tools and resources like the PAU survey, or PAYS for short, are extremely important to trend and prevent the issue. PAYS is a survey of grades 6, 8, 10, and 12, and has recently shown a sharp increase in teenage depression and anxiety. It also shows a decrease in substance use among adolescents. However, the mental health concerns are causing officials to call for more mental health resources in schools to prevent future substance abuse.
So monitoring this data, collecting it is critically important to ensuring that we maintain the funding and resources to support all these necessary prevention programs.
National Prevention Week runs May 8th through the 14th. For more information, check out our story at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, coming up, it's also Police Appreciation Week. We check in with a local restaurant here in Jamestown serving up benefits to our men and women in blue. But first, when we come back, a full look at our weather forecast, how long this beautiful sunshine is sticking around.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
lights,
vests,
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
it's our job
to help you.
To save you.
Despite the danger.
This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please.
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
Move over.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Well, welcome back. Let's take a look at those pollen levels once again. Really no change to the pollen levels. That tree pollen is still our main culprit, running up into the high category. And the same thing we've talked about, our next chance of rain is not going to be until the weekend. So this is ultimately going to get worse by the time we go into the weekend. Something that we have today, something that we don't really see very often, is an elevated risk for wildfire danger across not only just the southern tier, but all of western New York and much of central New York as well. So Here's the reason why. First of all, the temperatures. These are the current numbers. 71 here in town right now, 75 in Randolph, also in Clymer, 71 Fredonia, 76 in Brant, 72 in Warren. So the temperatures are warm, but it's not the temperatures, it's the dew point. The dew point measures the moisture content in the atmosphere. So the closer the air temperature and the dew point are, the more moisture there is. So look at these dew points. We're down into the 30s across the entire region. How about Olean? 27 degrees is the current dew point temperature there. So the air is very dry. So with that being the case, it won't take much for a fire to spread to an out-of-control wildfire. So we do have that burn ban until Saturday. So don't do any outdoor burning because we don't need wildfires. So just keep that in mind today. Big, beautiful high pressure, that's also part of the issue too. We have this high pressure in control, but notice how we're starting to get on the western side of it, but there's going to be another area building on in. Storms across Michigan will stay far away from here with that high still in control. So notice the computer modeling spits up a couple isolated showers inland. Those are not going to materialize. The air is way too dry for that. But as we go into the overnight hours, another clear starlit night. So if you're a fan of stargazing, another night out there to lay out across the stars and stargaze. Now tomorrow, once again, a same story. Lots of sunshine, a few high clouds rolling through the afternoon. Temperatures once again near 80 degrees. In fact, here's the breakdown for tomorrow. We'll start around 55 to start the day, 74 by noon hour, and then we should top out into the lower 80s. Now the next 7 days powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions, so we keep the sunshine and warm air going through Friday, a couple storms Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures return back down into the 60s, Justin, for early next week with a couple scattered showers.
All right, looks like spring and summer kind of locking in here, Dakota.
I don't know. How can we coin it?
Yeah.
Springer?
Springer?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Springer? Yeah.
If you have a good name for combining spring and summer,
let us know.
Please let us know.
At HuntersWX on Twitter. So there. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to deliver $40 billion in aid to Ukraine. The bill increases presidential downdraw authority funding from the $5 to $11 billion range. This gives the administration the ability to send U.S. military equipment and weapons to that country. The measure also includes $6 billion for other weapons, training, and intelligence support. $900 million will go towards refugee assistance, and $54 million will be used for public health and medical support. The bill still needs to be passed by the U.S. Senate and then signed by President Biden. Well, from gas to groceries, prices have gone up. A report out today shows by how much. It indicates the Consumer Price Index for April was up 8.3% year over year. Now, that's compared to March when the growth rate was about 8.5%. The data is coming as gas prices reach an all-time high. Today, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is laying out just how much those prices have risen. Gas prices have hit a new record in the U.S., AAA saying a year ago, a gallon of regular gas was $2.97. As of Tuesday, that price was $1.40 higher. Now, the predictions come in it will climb even more during the summer travel season, and in some states, people are already paying close to $5 or more than $5 a gallon. Now, Republicans, they're blaming the White House for the high cost. The Biden administration blaming Russia's war in Ukraine, the pandemic, and supply chain issues. The White House also saying that President Biden will talk about strategies on how to curb inflation during his visit to Illinois today. Well, since the Supreme Court draft decision striking down Roe v. Wade leaked to the public, demonstrators have taken their protests from the steps of the Supreme Court to the streets, protesting now outside of Supreme Court justices' homes in the Washington, D.C. area. Our correspondent Rachel Knapp followed one of those protests.
Keep abortion safe and legal. Gathered in an Alexandria, Virginia Walgreens parking lot, a group of pro-choice protesters marched off into a nearby neighborhood. You don't care if people die. Headed for Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito's home.
But does anyone here think that these unaccountable justices think twice about lying to us?
No. This group, organized by Shut Down DC, says about 100 people showed up to the protest, voicing their concerns about the Supreme Court potentially striking down Roe v. Wade, a ruling which has kept abortions legal in the U.S. Some of the speakers tonight have talked about how they're worried that If Roe gets overturned, they're worried that other rulings and precedents could be threatened.
This is not only a threat to abortion and the right to choose. This is also a threat to contraception such as birth control, IUDs, Plan B, LGBTQ plus rights, and same-sex marriage.
Alito isn't the first justice to have protesters outside of his home. Over the weekend, groups stood outside Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home, and while many have criticized people for protesting at the justice's home, some say it's their right to protest.
People out there that think that protesting and speaking at politicians and justices' homes is too much, please keep in mind that these people are actively attempting to take our rights away from us.
After a handful of speeches and a moment of silence, the group marched off.
No say! No say!
In Alexandria, Virginia, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. The White House now speaking out on the protests, saying that the justices should not be concerned about their personal safety. They add that protesters have a right to protest, but it should never include threats, vandalism, or violence. The Senate recently passed legislation to provide round-the-clock security for the justices and their families. That bill now heads to the House for approval. Well, next, it's Police Appreciation Week. A look at the benefits local officers in Jamestown are slated to receive as a thank you from the community.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Visit the Northwest Arena on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. Learn about activities available to youth in the Jamestown area, plus end the night with fireworks at the Tarp Skunks game. Learn more online at ccsolutions716.com.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Today is the start of National Police Appreciation Week, and in Jamestown, many local eateries are giving back. Our Bronson Rasmussen spoke to one of them. He joins us now with the details. Hello, Bronson.
The annual occurrence takes place in May and is meant to give back to police officers who sacrifice so much to keep the community safe. This year, lasting from the 11th until the 17th, officers can go to select restaurants and eat for free. Jamestown resident Melissa Paternitti helped set up the local effort to give back, signing up 6 local businesses to take part. One of these is the Hotspot Cafe under the leadership of owner Hector Alvario.
These officers work day and night so hard. They don't get no free time. They don't get to eat lunch half of the time. So why not feed them? Why not take some time and say, you know what, they deserve this. Let's take care of them. So we're here to take care of them. So we're going to feed them one day, hook them up with some good food. That way, they get pretty happy there,
Other restaurants that are giving back include the Game Time Sports Bar and Grill, Farm Fresh Foods, Sauce, the Allen Street Diner, and Sandy's Bakery. In the studio, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you very much. And thanks to Hector and so many others for doing that too, because Hector's right. We've heard about the stress on our law enforcement over the last few years. And one of the things that they did mention, and I know Councilman Russell has been vocal about this, is they don't always get a lunch break because they're so busy on their shifts, and especially when a lot is going on. So certainly great to see giving back in that way. And I'm sure there's still a lot of time too, where as people learn of Law Enforcement Appreciation Week, they can come out and give their supports. For sure.
And I mean, I think especially our local law enforcement here, because I keep going back to the Black Lives Black Lives Matter rally that was held back in 2020 here. Because all of the community members were involved.
Right.
And, from the police to the mayor, I mean, everybody was out there listening to the residents' concerns. So.
And that's the big thing. They really did listen and got some great feedback. So certainly good to have that small town vibe, I think, in that sense, where they really do listen and give feedback. Well, that's it for us today. We'll leave you with this live look over downtown Jamestown. Have a great day.